Hello everyone. So I recently gave my L1 exam like 2 days back, yes. And I was thinking to reflect on my journey and the things which could have been done right or which should not have been done. So I thought like why not to record a video and even if it is able to help one or two of you, that would be great. So let's just quickly jump into the video. Basically, I have divided this into three sections. The first is learning, second is strengthening and reinforcing, and the third is the final phase, the mock wala phase. I'll be going very English wala mode, the Hindi and English. So the first learning and applying before starting the CFL1 preparation, like I'm not going into very detail, but yeah, you should set appropriate target. Target should be something which is achievable. Like it should not be taxing. It should not, mentally drain you. It should be something which seems achievable, and it should not hamper your peace of mind. So I would suggest to at least spare 1.5 months, the last 1.5 months for the revision thing. So try to wind up your syllabus before that. That is, wind up your syllabus, conceptual things, and your notes and your formula books. Just wind up everything before that. So one way to divide your target, the daily targets, is by the duration of the lecture. So suppose if you have purchased one of the provider, the recordings you have purchased. So some students like me, this is what I did. Initially I divided the whole lecture duration, like the which the course provider provided, and I divided it by the number of days. So I set a target like this is the number of hours I have to give in like each day. But that is a very wrong way of setting a target because it's very impossible to cover the whole all of the lectures from the course provider. It's very impractical. It's not at all possible to cover 100% of the syllabus from the recordings. There would be some topics which you will read it yourself from the book. There will be some topics which you need to skip. So it's very bad way of setting the target. Instead, like the more appropriate way, which I now feel is the LOS thing, that is the learning outcome statement. So, for example, we have 10 subjects, and in every subject we have 8 to 10 LOSs. So approximately we have 100 topics to 100 areas of the study, 100 learning outcome statement. So what you can do, you can target that in these 3 days I'll complete one topic, or in these 2 days I'll complete one topic. So for example, if I say that one topic can be done in one day, so that means 100 topics can be done in 100 days. But that is not possible because sometimes you can do 3 topics in one day, and sometimes you can take 3 days for one topic. So that is something which is you have to see. But I have also covered subject wise thing in this video, so I can help you with that also. But by and large, if you see, you will be quite comfortable in preparation if you have 6 months in your hand. So for example, there are 100 topics, and if you take 2 days for every topic, so 200 days, that means 6 months approximately. That will be enough because there will be some days which will be, you'll be able to cover more than, you'll be able to cover 4 LOSs in one day. So because they are very small, weightage wise and everything, importance wise, they are very small. So I think 6 months are quite enough for the syllabus completion. The remaining 2 months are enough for the winding up of the part. So what I think, every short topic should consist of these 5 steps. Like there should be a pre-read before watching the lecture. I know it's utopian and no one does that, but it's very helpful. If you are so adamant on watching the lecture, please read. Like quickly read, but just read. Just know what you are going to learn. Watch the lecture, then again post read, and then practice ASAP. Like don't wait that I'll practice on the weekend, I'll practice after completing these many topics. Once you have learned one LOS, immediately go to the immediately go to the CF Institute, the learning ecosystem, immediately practice questions from that. Or you practice the mid of the chapter questions, end of the chapter questions, which is in the lesson section plan. Just don't defer practicing, right? Don't defer practicing. Now, before moving on to the next part, I would like to say, like, don't be so adamant on watching the lecture. First, read from, I would suggest read from Schweizer only. Read from Schweizer, like give your 100% in understanding that. If you think you need to use Google, you need to use AI tools to answer your inquisitive questions, just go all in, just self-study for 2 hours instead of watching the same topic. Your provider must have covered that same topic in 4 to 5 hours. So instead of that, I would suggest to do reading. Reading 2 hours can seriously help you complete one topic. Like, start saving time from day one. Don't, cover each and every lecture from your recordings. That would be wastage of time, seriously. And for the commerce students, I would seriously recommend to not, so much rely on the lectures if you need to save time. If you're running short of time, you need to read. So this pre-read, watch lecture, post-read will be combined in one single section. That is, simply read. Simply read, simply answer your queries, and, move to the practice section. I would suggest to do the LES questions, that is learning ecosystem questions, directly. And, make note of what is the level of difficulty you are getting and what is the weightage of topics. So there, for example, there is one LOS in quantitative methods, and in that one LOS, there are 5 things which you learned. So just make a deliberate attempt to know which topics say there are most of the questions. So for example, rates and returns is the first LOS of the quants. So just focus that TWROR and MWROR, like how many questions were there from out of the 20 questions? Were there 10 questions? And how many questions were there from the continuous rates, and how many questions were there from the perpetuity? Like 2, 3, or what were the weightage? Just make a deliberate attempt to focus on the weightage and the level of difficulty. So you'll know in what direction you'll need to move. You'll know the level of difficulty is easy, like this is so very easy, or is this too hard? Like, what are the type of questions asking? So just make a deliberate attempt. And then once you are done with the practicing, make a mistake sheet. Make a mistake sheet as in, like, did you do a calculation mistake? So for example, while using the CF function, what I used to do sometimes, like I used to overwrite the figure. So for example, in one question there was a 5 years of data, and in another second question there was 3 years of data. So I forgot to, remove the other 2 years of data, and I just overwrote the 3 years of data. So I wrote it in my mistake sheet. And sometimes I used to misread the year-wise data. So for example, the years are given from like 13, 14, 15, and I thought it's 15, 13, 14. So there may be some mistakes which you are making. So just make a note of them. And whenever you are free, or whenever you are like, you just take 2 or 3 minutes out of your schedule and just go through your mistakes, and just remind yourself that you're not going to make these mistakes again, right? So for example, once what I did, the answer was company B. So I thought company B would be in the option only, and I take option B. But the company B was given in company C. So these mistakes, just make note of that. In fixed income, what we used, sometimes what we do in semi-annual payment wala thing, we forget that we have to do I by Y divided by 2 and N into 2. So just consciously make notes of those mistakes from very starting. From first day you make notes. Secondly, make notes of whatever you study. So suppose you did hypothesis, and you made running notes from the lecture or whatever, like you made running notes from the Google or internet. You just wrote beside the book that this is what you understood. So once you are done with that, suppose you made running notes of 10 pages, or you wrote beside that section of the book, I would strongly recommend to please took them out and make a separate note register. So for example, you did 10 pages, so crunch them into 2 pages. So that's why I have wrote it 2:10, like please crunch it right now. So the agenda here is to prepare for the last day from the very first day. Don't wait that you'll make the notes at the end of the whole subject, like you'll complete the QM, whole QM, then you'll make notes. No, just go LOS wise, learning outcome statement wise, make notes abhi se. Now there are some sections which are not naturally occurring to you. So for example, hypothesis. So I would suggest, so for example, what happened in my case, I did hypothesis. I understood it very nicely, like what is the basic purpose, why we are doing this. But then I didn't revise it. So I lost track of it completely. Like by the end of the 3 or 4 months, I didn't know what I studied, and I had running notes from the lecture, but I didn't revise it. So I would suggest the topics which are not naturally occurring to you. So for example, fixed income, equity, PM, these are very naturally occurring. You will not need to make much effort in that, and you'll be able to recollect them very quickly. Like even if you'll do the reading from the textbook, you will be able to recollect them. But the hypothesis thing is something which is not naturally recurring. At least it was not for me. If you are from the stats background, it could be for you, but it was not for me. So since I said that I'm making this video for myself also, so I think what could have been better, what I would have done, I would have recorded my audio video, you know. So I used to do in the later days, I used to record a concepts video on my own. So for example, hypothesis thing, I learned p-value, z-test, t-test, chi-square, f-test. So what I could have done, I could have recorded this. I know it would be very taxing, it would feel boring, and it would require all the strength, all the mental strength. But that would be seriously helpful to record on your own, because you know, like some of my friends suggest that we have recordings, we have the revisionary lectures of our institute provider, of our course provider, so why to waste time on, you know, recording our own revisionary videos? So I'm not suggesting them to record for each and every topic, but there should be some topics which should be recorded in your voice. So basically I'm suggesting here to make your own notes, but then you can also record sometimes your own voice notes or the video notes. That will be very helpful. Like nothing can defeat those notes, like your own curated notes, you know. So just make them. So for example, this alternative investment thing, it has only one sort of numerical question, and it will test all your concepts, right? Hard hurdle rate, high watermark, catch up, clawback. It will test everything. One question has the ability to test all your concepts, right? All your 2 LOSs can be tested in one single question. So what I did, I framed one structure of that question, and I just recorded it, like what are the steps we need to do and like how to crack it. So that helped me till the last day. So for example, I said step 1, we need to identify management fees. What percentage of is it the percentage of ending AUM or the beginning AUM? So the incentive fee is independent or the net. So we need to use these these repetitive steps. So some things which is very structural, you just record it. And if you get some time, if you don't feel like studying one subject, then you just see those recording. If you feel, oh, I'm forgetting that, just see your own recording. I think that would be very helpful. So that is something which this whole process you need, the practicing part, the notes making part, and even if you want that, like that's completely up to you. If you want to record, please record. Like don't hesitate, don't restrict yourself, and you know, don't just get tired. I know it will be very boring and it will require your mental energy too much, but don't just restrain from it. It will be very helpful, I'm telling you. Secondly, I want to say that find the patterns, like which LOS is important. So out of 10 LOSs, not all the LOS is important. Just identify which LOS is important and which topic within that LOS is important. So now you would find it very contradictory. The statement which I am now going to say, that don't do selective learning. Selective learning is not going to help. But at the same time, prioritize the things. Now, by prioritizing, I mean, so suppose you have this, you targeted that this whole 10 days, I am going to cover this topic from the, or I'm going to cover QM. I'm going to cover quantitative methods in these 10 to 15 days. So what I'm telling you, just go give priority to each and everything. So for example, I can show you the quants has these many topics. So suppose quants has these many topics: rates and returns, portfolio mathematics, probability, simulation, hypothesis. So you can see the number of questions in each topics. Simple linear regression is 40 questions, hypothesis is 30 questions, but probability is only 6 questions, simulation is only 7 questions. So this should ring a bell that where I need to put my time first. I'm not asking you to do selective learning. I'm not asking you to skip anything, but I'm asking you to prioritize things. So for example, first I'll cover the rates and return wala part. Then I'll cover hypothesis. Then I'll cover simple linear regression. Then I'll cover all these things. Maybe I'll give one day and I'll cover all these topics in one day. And I'm done. So for example, you got an emergency or you do not have time, you do not have much time due to any XYZ reason, and you want to move to the next subject and you are so tired with this QM, and it sometimes gets tired. It gets boring to study one subject. So at least you'll be done with the high weighted topics for once. So that is the whole idea of prioritizing the subjects. So that's what I have written here, that find the patterns, which LOS is important, and prioritize things. And even in the less important topics, just have answers to your whys. And this thing, selective learning wala thing, we are going to cover in more detail in the last section, or in the mock analysis and last stage wala section in more detail. But just don't let your curiosity unanswered. Each and every question of yours should be answered. There are so many AI tools. There are, so many communication channels through which you can reach out to your peers. So just don't restrict yourself. Don't rot learn. Have your whys, because I gave my exam and I truly think that they asked question on why. Why are we doing this? What is their purpose? What is its purpose? So just answer your whys. Don't rot learn. Now, another confusion which pops up is prerequisites, like should we cover that or should we not cover that? So, there are prerequisites on QM, FSA and the economics. I would suggest do the prerequisites of QM at least, because I also covered QM and that really helped. And then economics and FSA is something which you can skip for once. And if you feel that in LES or the learning ecosystem, there are questions and you need to do, you can then do it. But I don't think prerequisites are that much important. Like you can skip them. And if you're running short of time, skip QM ka prerequisite also. But QM ka prerequisite, I'm telling you not to skip because it will cover the TVM core. The core TVM, the whole and soul of each and every topic, that is fixed income equity, is TVM, the time value of money. So I would suggest not to skip TVM part of prerequisite at least, right? So that was my take on the prerequisite thing. Next we are covering a little bit on, I know this video can be of 1 hour also. I tried to cover it in, lesser of the duration, but it's okay. Like that's completely fine. I think this video will stretch to 1 hour, but that is fine. 10 subjects, 1 hour is enough. So second is subject wise discussion. So if you want to ask me like what should be the order of the subjects, I would say first do some heavy subjects, then if you are tired, do some light subjects. But don't let go of the track of the high weighted subject. Now there's a difference between high weighted and light and heavy subjects. So high weighted subjects is something which I'm asking you to do. This screenshot everyone should have. This screenshot everyone should have. This covers like what subjects will be there in session 1, the first session, and what subjects will be there in session 2 and what are the weightage. So for example, ethics is 15 to 20%. FSA is 11 to 14%. Fixed income is 11 to 14%. So these are high weighted subject, and you cannot do selective learning in these topics at any cost. You cannot miss any concept in these subject at any cost. So like this is something which I referred for my May 25 exam. I would strongly suggest to take the latest one from the CFA Institute site and not refer this, please. So this is something which everyone should have before starting their preparation. So if you ask me the order of study, QM, please do it in first. It may take 15 days to cover the whole QM, that's okay. It may take 20 days to cover the whole QM, that's okay. Your QM should be very strong, very strong. Then cover fixed income, because if you cover fixed income after QM na, you'll find some relatable topics and you'll be able to cover fixed income very nicely. Then if you're tired, you can cover corporate issuers. Then you can go for equity, which is a high weighted subject. Because we want to pull the high weighted subjects earlier. So for example, fixed income was high weighted at my time. Equity was high weighted at my time. So that's why I have arranged them in this order. Next, you can, like this order is not strict, but what I'm suggesting is make a combination of low weighted subject and a high weighted subject. And the which is taxing to your brain and something which just calms your brain down. So economics is something which will calm your brain down, like it is not numerical heavy as such. Again, corporate issuers, there are some numericals, but most of them is theory. I would suggest do ethics at the end, like not at two end, but like when you have like 3 months left in your preparation, in your exam, start ethics then. So for example, my colleague suggested me, like my exam was in May, so he suggested me to start ethics in March. So I think that was a very good suggestion. And because ethics is pure theory and you need to retain much of it. Because I am someone who is very bad at retention. I was not bad initially, but over the time I have become bad at retention and retaining the things. So I forget theory very easily. So what I did, I pushed theory towards the end, but that is not something I will suggest you. Like, do whatever works best for you. Derivatives is again, I would suggest to put it at the end because it is low weighted. First of all, at my time it covered only 6 to 9% of the whole exam. So derivatives is something, if this is the same case in your scenario also, like just push it to the later end, and because it is थोड़ा difficult to retain and it is low weighted topic, so you can put derivatives at the end. Now we will थोड़ा बहुत cover on how to go about each subject, like subject strategy. So for example, QM I already told you a little bit. Already I have covered QM. Second is economics. So in QM you can take hypothesis, you can take 3 to 4 days. Simple linear regression you can take 2 to 3 days. But for economics, you cannot take 1 day for one LOS. You should be covering 2 topics in one LOS. So if you're working professional, do fiscal policy in the morning, do monetary policy at the end, and get done with it. Do firm and market structures in one single day. That is okay. Do geopolitics and international trade in one single day. Capital flows and exchange rate, I would suggest give one whole day to both of them. And even if it is required, then you can give them like whole 2 LOSs, you can give 2 to 3 days or 4 days even if it is required, because they are important, they are numerical heavy, and they seem a little bit difficult. So you can do these. Corporate issues is something you need to be very fast with it because there is theory. So you need to be very fast with the theoretical sections. So for example, this, if we talk about, just a second. So if you talk about this organizational structures, investors, corporate governance, business models. So these are purely theory topics and you can do them in 1 day also. So just don't waste too much time on them. Focus on these 3 because these are numerical heavy. Focus on these 3, give them 3 days, or what you can do is you can combine one of them with one of them. right? You can do that. So what I'm saying is, QM, it's okay if you are taking 15 to 20 days, but with economics and corporate issues, I would strongly suggest to set a target that I'm going to cover economics in this week. That's it. Not more, not even a single day more than that. Corporate issues, 1 week, max 1 week, not even a single day more than that, because reason being, they are light on the brain. Secondly, they are low weighted on the exam. So again, I'm not telling you to do selective learning. I'm not telling you to skip anything. I'm not telling you to, just don't focus on the conceptual thing. All I'm saying is, like fiscal policy, you should know everything about that, right? But you should not give so much time on that. Then FSA, please do everything out of this. Like, don't skip anything. But yeah, introduction to FSA, you can very quickly do, and no need to watch the lecture even. If you are from the commerce background, no need to watch the lecture. Just do the reading and just get done with this within 1 day. Within half day. It's very light. Modeling is something which I don't feel is really important. Quality is something theoretical, so you can do it in 1 day. Techniques is the base. Like, start with techniques, start with the ratios, then go on the income statements, balance sheet, cash flows, LT and LTL. So there's a catch here, which I'll tell you in the mock wala section. But before than that, there's one thing I want to say in the notes wala thing. So what my friends told me that some of them told me that they don't need to prepare their own notes because they had their notes from the course providers. But the course provider notes didn't work for me. Like, the practical topics which were there, I was always wanting them to be in my own handwriting, because until and unless they were not in my own handwriting, it was very difficult to, learn them from the course provider notes. Theory is something which I was comfortable from the course provider notes, but practical was something which I was willingly, and which was, the practical was something which I wanted to had it in my own handwriting. So what I'm suggesting is, it's okay if you're someone who is very comfortable with the course provider notes. Just have your last day preparation ready from you. So for example, QM, whether you are doing it from the course provider or whether you are doing it from your notes book, just have this clear mindset and always revise it from that source only. Because in exam also now you will remember that, oh, this thing was there, written there, this thing was written there. So don't just change your source of revision, keep them constant. So for example, portfolio management, what I did, I made the complete notes on my own of the risk and return part, risk and return 1 and risk and return 2. But for the theoretical topics, I relied on my course provider notes, and which was easy to skim through at the end. So I wrote it at the side of every LOS, right? What you need to do, you're gonna print out all the LOS sheet from the CF Institute side, and you're gonna write, like, suppose it is your last day, from where you are going to study this topic, own notes or that note. Just have a clear mindset. Because I don't want you to juggle between the handwritten notes or the running notes which you prepared in the class. Just have very short notes. It's okay if you are completely okay with the juice notes or the third party notes. That is completely fine. But just feel whatever is comfortable for you. So there was one friend of mine who said that, no, yaar, I don't quickly retain things from the course provider or the third party notes. So that's why I'm making my own notes, and that's completely fine. So that is up to you. But please make notes. Please crunch your whole 10 to 15 pages topic into 2 pages. That is my request. So we are done with the this thing. Session 1 ka subject except ethics. We can't skip ethics. So ethics mein what you need to do, I would suggest, again, if you are running short of time, what you can do, you can skip the lectures. You can, there's this handbook which is available on the site standards of practice handbook. It has, like, for example, there's one standard, professionalism. Professionalism has 5 substandards. So this handbook covers हर एक substandard का questions, like 5 to 10 questions of each substandard. So I would suggest either you refer this handbook or you go to the learning ecosystem, you go to the lesson wala section and you do all the mid chapter questions, the mid of the chapter questions of the ethics. So for example, you studied something from the Schweizer that this standard is about this. Then you jump to the mid of the chapter examples. So there is commentary provided. I can even show you one of the examples. So for example, if we go randomly on some page. So for example, this standard is about responsibility of supervisor. So this is related to duty of the employers, standard number 4, and this is the third substandard, responsibility of the supervisor. So now this handbook covers each and every example, like 10 examples from one single standard. So you're understanding, like, there's not even a single scope, or there's very less scope of you missing out on any scenario. So I would suggest do this and make a one-liner note from each example. So for example, this is a situation, just make a one-liner note. If this is a situation, this is a violation, this is not a violation. If you do this for each and every example. So for example, we have 7 standards and approximately 22 substandards in total. So it has, this notebook or the learning ecosystem has 10 examples of those 22 standards. So you have 220 examples with you. So just make one-liner notes. Now, obviously, you will not need to make 221 liners because most of the examples are related. So at least you have 50 to 71 liners, like this is a violation, this is not a violation. Then you jump to the learning ecosystem practice question. Then it will be very easy for you. Because my mistake was I didn't use this approach. I directly jumped to the LES, and that, was little bit confusing कि यार अच्छा इस स्टैंडर्ड में ये भी बचा था क्या, अभी ये भी होता है क्या इस स्टैंडर्ड में, ये तो मुझे पता ही नहीं था. So this will give you whole overview of each and every single standard. So let's get back here. And then ethics, I would strongly suggest to make your own notes. Like I told you, one-liner notes from each and example. Practice questions, you can make each and one-liner notes. Please make your own notes, and leave space. So for example, there's one substandard, you made your own notes. Leave one page. Leave one page because there's always something which you don't know. So maybe you can add on to that. While making notes, I would suggest leave one page because you will come across so many new things related to that topic also. So just leave 1 or 2 pages after the end of every topic. So that was our session 1. Now let's move to the session 2 thing. Session 2 has quite interesting and high weighted topics. So equity is the first topic we are going to see. Equity mein you need to start from the last LOS behind it. You need to start from the last LOS, equity valuation. It might take 2 to 3 days to complete that, but please make your own notes. Please make your own notes for equity. And then you need to start from this LOS 1, 2, 3. It's okay if you are not doing the recordings for these LOSs, market efficiency overview, company analysis, industry company. It's absolutely okay if you're running short of time. Please read them yourself. Again, I'm saying don't do selective learning. Know each and every concept, but then again prioritize. The whole purpose of this video is to tell you to prioritize topics. Equity valuation, market organization, security market indexes, market efficiency. Just prioritize these topics first. Okay. Then fixed income. Fixed income, from where you will start? You will start from price yields wala topic. You will start from here. You'll start from here. You'll start your fixed income this way. You'll not cover above LOS first. Because once you are done with these, you'll automatically know these. So I would suggest do first these, and if you are running short of time, move to the next subject. If you have some time left, do these things. Also, there's a very important thing, don't skip theory, because level 1 is something which will test your concepts, and concepts can be tested in only the theoretical way. So don't think that it is theory, so it is not important. I'll focus on the practical part only. Just don't think. Don't skip theory. Okay? Don't skip theory. Focus on the theory. So the basic idea I'm saying is give your 100% in all the LOSs, all the subtopics of the LOS. Okay, set your base straight, but then which are high weighted topics, just increase your, attention to them. That is what I'm saying. Then what do we have? The remaining subjects, what do we have? Yeah, derivatives, again, all LOSs are important. Just know their whys, why we are using this put call parity, why swaps. Swaps is something you can cover at the end because I didn't find it much relevant, but okay. And then alternative investments, you are going to start your preparation from the starting LOS, performance and returns, because these are the two practical LOSs, investment features, methods and structures. Start your preparation with this, and again same economics wala approach we are going to do this. We are going to cover 2 LOSs in one day, not less than that, like not more than that, not more than one day. And we are not going to give more than one day for this, like these 2 LOSs, not going to take more than one day in these 2 LOSs. Not digital asset was something which I forgot, so it's better to, record your own things. Ethics is something which you can do your own recording. Ki ye standard tha, isme ye sab tha. So ethics is something you can record. So my colleague suggested me to, record ethics. And if you are traveling to office, just listen to the ethics recording once. So that really helped me. And then portfolio management, yes. So portfolio management is something, this risk and return part, I know it's very important, it's very practical, it is important. So what I did initially, I did risk and return and I didn't do theory because I thought theory to hai. But then you will see that this whole theory, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, last 4 LOSs are 50% and the risk and return is 50%. So if you're going to skip theory knowing this, you're not going to achieve more than 50% marks in the whole portfolio management. And I'm sure you are not someone who is going to take chances of, okay, I'll do only 50% in this topic. So portfolio management theory, very, very important. Risk management, very important. Behavioral biasness, a very beautiful topic. And again, an important one. Portfolio management, basics of portfolio and construction, very important. So what I did, I didn't know that these were so important. I took mocks and then I got to know. So I'm telling you, very important. Just don't, throw them aside. So I think by and large I have covered each and every subject. Then let's focus on how to, strengthen the subjects, because, retention will be an issue. Retention will always be an issue because it's natural, 10 subjects, you cannot retain each and everything. So what you can do spaced revision. Now my mistake here was I did cons in December and I didn't touch cons in the whole 3 or 4 months. Then I had to sit like for 4 to 5 days to, just recognize or recollect what I did in cons. So I would suggest don't put itna sara gap in revising, but also don't bother about revising it that much. So for example, you can suppose you did cons and then you covered FSA, you covered eco, then after at least 1.5 months, you please again pick cons. And how do you revise things? You do not revise things from notes, please. So my colleague suggested me that Sonia, the best revision is not through your notes. The best revision is through your questions. 1 hour, you spend 1 hour in revising the notes and you spend 1 hour in doing the questions. The utility from doing the question is very, very high, because in 1 hour, you'll you'll know, oh, you are making calculator mistakes, oh, you are making conceptual mistakes, or oh, you are misreading the things. So if you want to revise portfolio management, directly jump into the, you know, directly jump into the LES questions, the practice question. Like you can max to max give half an hour on revising your notes, but if you're not understanding anything, not able to recollect anything, I would suggest just revise, just do the questions and keep your ego aside or keep your fear aside that, oh, I earlier got 70% accuracy, my accuracy will go down if I don't, if I don't revise and directly jump into the question. Just put that aside. Even if goes 40%, 50% accuracy, just do the questions. Please do the questions. My humble request, please do the question. So my friend suggested me to at least do the LES question 2 to 3 times before the exam. But no, if there's a time crunch, you cannot do the LES question 3 times, but at least do each and every LOS practice question 2 times, because that's how you're going to reinforce the concept. Because the first time you learn something, you are like, okay, I know this, but the second time you actually think about it deeply. Oh, okay, so that is the purpose, that's why we are doing this. And you ask questions. Second time is something which when you ask the questions, when you ask the right questions. So do the LES question at least 2 times. Now, what you also can do, you can bookmark the questions for the last day. So this is what my friend suggested me. So suppose there are 50 questions of the risk and return, part 1, and part 2 there are again 70 questions. So there will be many repeated questions, like standard deviation, there will be 10 questions of standard deviation. So just bookmark 2 main questions. And from the theory also, the same concept will be tested from the 5 to 6 questions. Just bookmark that 1 question. So now you have bookmarked 15 questions out of the 50 questions. Now these questions are something which you are going to use at the end. Like when you have 15 days for the revision and you are thinking to, do revision of 2 subjects in each day, you are not going to touch all the 60 questions. You are only going to see those 15 questions. And you are going to actually solve those 15 questions on the calculator. You are not going to, just see the solution, or you are not going to revise the notes. You are actually going to revise those 15 questions by actually solving those. You are actually going to do the diluted earning per share question in your last 10 days again. No matter how many times you have done the LES, no matter how much you are confident, just do those 10 questions on the diluted earning per share or the 5 questions which you have bookmarked. Right? And do more and more questions from your weak areas, like use AI tools. So for example, I was facing difficulty in understanding like why something is leading indicator, why something is lagging indicator, why the same indicator cannot be a lagging indicator. So if that is something, if any of the area is giving you any of the confusion, just don't let it grow. Just cut that confusion. Use AI tools. Take help of your friends. Use Google. Just cut your confusion and practice as many questions as you can. So for example, business cycle, if the LES only has 10 questions, do the mid of the chapter questions, do the Schweitzer questions, or ask AI to generate questions for you. Like, do anything, but just get that topic very clear. Don't keep the doubts till the last day. Okay. Now some of you have queries like what to do with the premium thing, like whether to buy it or not. Honestly speaking, if it is within your, if it is within your reach to afford it, then you can buy premiums. But or if there is any way you can buy it at a low cost, then you can use the premium. If you have time, you can use the premium, but it's not like 100% recommended, or like it's a must to do. It's not that it's a must to do. Don't bother about the premium questions. Don't bother. It's okay. Don't bother about the premium questions. Then my favorite and the most awaited section, the mocks and the exams thing, and we are nearly to 1 hour. So my experience versus others, which is I'm going to discuss, like how was my experience of the exam and how was the experience of my friends, and how to analyze the mock and how to give mock, when to give mock. This is something which we are going to cover in this section. So I would suggest, no matter how scared you are, no matter how much syllabus you have covered, I don't care. Just give your first mock at least when you have 50 to 60 days left in your exam. Just give your first mock. Set your fear aside. Just give your first mock. So what you're going to do, suppose you're thinking to give mock on 5th of the month. So a night before, revise all the notes, revise the formula book, and early morning you give the mock. Like you give the mock from 9 to 2, so that you have enough time to analyze the whole mock in the same day. Like don't put the analysis to the next day, that I'll analyze tomorrow, I'll analyze day after tomorrow. Please don't do that. Analyze on the same day. And in a mock day should be a break day also. Like once you are given mock, please take a nice break and then sit for analysis. And we are going to cover how to analyze. So let's quickly cover it right now. So you are going to analyze. If you are low on preparation, just focus on the category wise score. Like how many questions were there from each category. So you'll see the ethics has 30 questions. You'll see derivatives has 10 questions. You'll see fixed income has 22 questions. So, and in that also see from which LOS are those questions coming. So what happened with me, I don't know, I was luckier one or what. Whatever was the pattern in the mock, the exam pattern was quite similar. Quite similar. Like I'm not saying the questions were same or any of that stuff, but I could see that conceptual wise, or the way they were framing the question, it was very similar to mocks. Very similar. So you cannot afford to take mocks lightly. And the 2 mocks which are given free to you, if required, do them twice. Do them twice. But know each and everything. Know each and every why of each and every question, each and every what of each and every option. You cannot afford to not know the concepts which are tested on the mock. I repeat, like the concepts which are tested on the mock, you cannot afford them not to know. You cannot afford them to skip. So take your mocks very, very seriously. Strategize your, preparation according to that. 60 days, 50 days, 40 days are enough to bounce back. No matter how much, your preparation was sideways, or no matter like what bad happened in your preparation. 40 days are enough. Just focus on the category wise scores, and so that's why I have written mocks are the energy channelizer. You have limited energy, you have limited time. Just focus on the mocks. Like what are the weightages given to each subject? What are the weightages given to each LOS of that subject? Just focus on that. I'm not saying that the weightages will be same. So for example, there was a friend of mine who said that, yeah, something which was in mock very low weighted, like 1 or 2 questions from that, I got 4 questions from that topic. So, but some of my friends had told me that no, they find the whole exam to be very similar to the mock. Some of my friends told me it was theory oriented, and which I also felt that the level 1 exam was quite theory oriented, because theory is something, I repeat, is something through theory you can test your concepts. Through practical you cannot. Like putting the formula is not something, if you are able to put the formula right, if you are able to put the figures right in the formula, I won't be sure whether you know the concepts or not until I ask you the actual theoretical topics. So level 1 is a conceptual foundational level. So please focus on the theory also. Please don't skip theory. That's why I told you earlier also, don't do selective learning, but always prioritize, right? So I told you my experience that it was very similar to mocks, for some others, they told me that it was practical oriented and they were on their calculator all the time. So you don't need to worry about that. How will be the exam? All you need to worry about is your strategy, your preparation. Because normalization is going to take care of everything. If you're getting a difficult paper and I'm getting the easy paper, normalization is going to take care of it. You don't need to worry about that. All you need to worry about is how you are moving. Okay? And how do you analyze the mock? Please see whether you the question which you did wrong, was it a misread? Like you read most likely as least likely, or not violated as violated. So whether it was a misread, whether it was a miscalculated, whether it was misinterpreted. So for example, you read it correctly, but you interpreted it wrong. So what was the thing? Was there a conceptual problem? You applied the concept. So for example, you knew the fixed income is the PV of the future cash flows, but you knew the concept, but you applied it in a wrong way. So was it a conceptual problem? Or was it something which you didn't know? So for example, there will be many theory topics which will be like, यार ये तो मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं पूरे उसमें. So learn that thing, you know. So for example, there was a term which came in my mock exam and I didn't read about it. So what I did, I completely, you know, I analyzed that term from all the perspective so that I know each and everything about that term. And that term, it really turned up in my exam. So that's why I'm telling you, just don't go lightly on the mocks. Do them very seriously, like a holy Bible, right? And how much marks should you give? I think 2 marks are enough. 2 to 4 marks. 4 marks are enough. So you can take marks of any course provider. The 2 basic CFA level marks you should give. Any course provider you can take marks. Or you can give premium marks. Again, I'm telling you, if it is within your reach to buy the premium marks, you can buy. Or if there are any options through which you can buy the premium marks at a lower cost, please do premium marks. Like more than the premium LES questions, do the premium marks if it is within your reach. Money wise, time wise, do the premium marks. Because I told you LES premium, practice premium questions, it's okay if you are skipping it, but premium marks, I think they would be helpful. Like do 2 to 3 marks, even if time permits. Only if time permits you can do. Otherwise, it's okay. Just don't bother too much. And then the last thing, that there's a difference between formula notebook and the notes notebook. So for example, you made notes uh, and you filled your, like, you made notes, a book, and there is a notes notebook. Please keep both of them separate. So before your, when you have this last day, I'm repeatedly telling you, just prepare for the last day from the very first day. Keep your formula sheet ready, keep your notes ready, because when you have, like, when it's the last day of your preparation, so for example your exam is on 20 and it's 19th of the month, so on that day you cannot read all of the things. And even if you're giving mocks, so suppose forget the actual exam, before mock you cannot revise all the notes, all the 10 subject notes, all the 100 topics. You cannot revise it in 1 hour, right? But what you can do, before every mock, you revise the formula book very thoroughly. Or just any important points you have jotted down, just revise those. Don't waste time on too much on notes thing. I'm again telling you, always practice question. So it's 1 hour, and yeah. So in summary, basically I want to say study smart. Don't do selective study. Okay? Study smart. Prioritize your topics, and if it is feeling very tiring and taxing to just do one subject from the last 10 to 20 days, just leave that subject for once, move on to the another subject. Don't just get, don't be sad while learning. That's what I want to say. Don't learn with the sad mood. Just learn very inquisitively with whole curiosity. If you're not feeling like study, take a break. Don't force your brain itna sara, but also at the same time, don't be indisciplined. Be disciplined, but if it is taking a toll on you, just keep that subject aside. Don't pressure yourself. Pick that subject again after 10-15 days, but then prioritize each and everything. Prioritize your LOS. Don't do selective learning. Don't skip anything. But at the same time, give your 150% on the topics which you think are important and give your 100% in the topics which you think are not important. There is no way you can give 50% or there's no way you can skip a subject, skip a topic. Okay. Just keep going. Feel free to reach out in case of any query, any suggestion, anything which you think is I covered is irrelevant. So yeah, that's it. I hope I have covered everything. Yeah, so there was one thing which mocks are the way. Like, don't take lightly those mocks. They are the energy channelizer. So yeah. And is there anything I skipped? Yeah, so focus on the questions. Don't rely on the, like, I revise the notes. So for example, you want to revise the QM. You saw your notes and you said, oh, I revised the QM, now I know everything. No. You want to do revision, don't say that you have revised this thing if you have not done its questions again. So don't tell your friend that, oh, I have revised the QM from my notes. That means I'm done with my QM revision. Because questions are important. You cannot say you have done the revision until and unless you have done the questions. You are saying me that hypothesis is something which I have done from the notes. So I have revised it. I won't buy it. Please come to me after coming 10 to 15 questions and then say I have revised it. Yeah. So that's it. All the best, everyone. And please watching this video. And I would again say that if you think there's something which I have not covered or there's something which I have said it incorrectly, feel free to reach out through the comments or, comments is the only way. So feel free to reach out through comments. Again, thank you everyone for watching the video. And again, keep, talking to your friends, talking to your mentors, because all of this which I have covered in this video, I have learned it from my colleague, from my friends, and from my peers who were also learning and giving the exam simultaneously. So I also thank them I also wanted to thank them through this video. So thank you so much everyone who were there with my CFA level 1 journey, and your support was really, really helpful. You guys really made it easy for me. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.